What is going on, everybody? Welcome to week number 14, year number 4, Wednesday preview video. We've got Broken Arrow, Amarillo, and Shreveport on the docket. Check out their recruiting boards. Let's go on and take a look at Broken Arrow. Obviously not the season that Broken Arrow envisioned themselves having, especially after a Sugar Bowl victory. Obviously losing Brian Street. They were hoping that he was going to come back for his senior season. He saw the writing on the wall. He ducked out of Dodge. He got out of Dodge, ducked out of there. And the rest is history. Carolina Panthers backup currently. But you guys can see up on the board here, they're going after guys like Fortlow, Justin Keith. They did get Jimmy Mark, who's buying into that Todd Orlando defense. Quentin Stanford, Willie Kidd, Mike Nash, they ended up getting him. Orlando Austin, they're still in the running with Austin, the power back type of player. A lot of defensive guys here. Marcus Owens, they ended up getting him. They're in a battle with LSU, with Pat Wesley. Xavier Taylor signed. So a lot of grit and grind going on here with Broken Arrow. Not a whole lot of skill positions. Not a whole lot of, I don't know what you'd say, like electric type of athletes. Not getting those guys. Not getting those guys right now. Because Socrates Fortlow would be one of those guys. And he's in their top 5 as a potential school for him. And, you know, we could possibly decide to use the open the door on Fortlow. I think it would be a smart thing for Broken Arrow to do that. We've only got a couple more weeks left. We've obviously got this week, week 15, and then the championship game, and then we head into the offseason. It almost doesn't make sense for Broken Arrow to let this type of player go. We're going to go ahead and open the door and get him into second place for Broken Arrow. And you know what? They would do that. He's the #1 pass rusher in the entire nation. You go after a guy like that, and you go after a guy like that very, very hard. Looking at a guy like Willie Kidd, you might want to just knock some of these points down, maybe go to 230, and then give the rest to Fortlow. See where that lands you, especially with the bonus right there. We'll see what happens next week for Fortlow. Looking at Justin Keith, down 1,200 points. Randy Collins, the punter. And this is all, it's obviously sorted by overall rating, guys, so it's not sorted by prospect rank. But Willie Kidd, down by 610. I think cutting that in half would be pretty good for them to try to split hairs and try to go after Kidd and Fortlow. Maybe they might nab them both. Who knows? Austin down 430. Steve Thompson, Paul Campbell getting after some athletes here. Marcus Owens committed. Xavier Taylor, EJ Jones. And then we go down to Takeo Kuminato, down 8,700 points. And I don't even know if you can open the door on this guy. You can't, because he's cut it off to his top 2 teams, and it's Odessa and Nebraska. With Odessa having a visit this week, this is a huge week for them to try to grab a guy like this. Takeo Kuminato, 6'4" receiver. That would be huge for this offense for Odessa, but we're not talking about Odessa. We're talking about Broken Arrow. Jason Jackson, obviously, up there at 235. Shafari Okoye has now locked Broken Arrow out. We talked about Braga, and here's an interesting one. Chad Masters in second place. We did up some points on Chad Masters for Broken Arrow, down 860, down to Ardmore right now. And I do have a quarterback commitment for you guys to watch out for. Obviously, Chad Masters being the #2 quarterback in this entire class for custom recruits. We did have one custom recruit commit. Where did he go? I'll let you guys know in just a moment. Whenever we get to Shreveport's recruiting board, we always talk about getting athletes. We always talk about getting guys that are going to push them over the top eventually, right? Well, it just doesn't ever seem to work out that way, because they always seem to go after guys that are that grit and grind type of player that we just saw with a lot of, at least, with Broken Arrow. This identity thing that Todd Orlando's got with what Coach LaDuca has with the Shreveport Skeeters team, going after guys like Tyler Dykes, Jafari Okoye, Jay Johnson, like all these guys. Raul Braga's right in there. But all these guys have visits. And now they're going up against Ardmore. Ardmore's coming on the road to Shreveport. And it's going to be a hostile environment down there. Party like there ain't no party down in Shreveport, man. It's just crazy. We've got some subscribers out there who are on the search for the savior, eventually, of the Shreveport Skeeters program. I don't know what they're going to find. It just might be too monstrous. We might not want to even try to find that guy. Maybe Swamp Thing. Maybe Swamp Thing will help them out. But all jokes aside, going after Tyler Dykes down by 830 points to Nebraska State. And I think he's really leaning towards Nebraska State just because of the rank alone. And their defense has been playing well. Shreveport has not been playing well as a program. I don't blame him for wanting to really consider Nebraska State over Shreveport at this point. Thomas Marquardt, I think we're going to open the door on him if that's even available. It is. You need a guy like this down in the Shreve. You need a guy that's going to get down in the trenches and get dirty. They're going to still try to run the football. Maybe if a head coaching change is implemented, I can guarantee you that the players that are already here, you don't want to be using those guys in a spread type of offense when you're opening it up to the passing game. It's just not going to work. We saw that with Michigan and Rich Rodriguez, right? I mean, it's not going to work. So we have to open this door with Thomas Marquardt. Hopefully he can help us out here at the Shreve. I know he's a pass blocking type of tackle, but he's the type of player that's going to help them in that transition period. He's good enough to run block. He can pass block. Eventually, if a coaching change is made, he could be the guy that could anchor that line. So we're going to need to find some points to be able to put onto Marquardt so we don't necessarily lose him. Nick Lee, 205 points, right behind ACU. They did get Wade Hancock, a corner, 5'9" corner, so maybe he's going to help them out with a little more athleticism, especially being 5'9". You'd expect that he can have some speed and hang with some of the bigger receivers. Ethan King, a 2-star. We already know he signed with them. Brian Mayfield, 6'1", 249 athlete, down by 295 to Texas Tech. Adam Porter down 3,400 at center. I don't know if I want to waste another open the door on a center like that. Jafari Okoye going really hard after the homegrown product. Okoye trying to grab him. And then Junior Cash. Junior Cash is in the lead right now at Shreveport. It says he's a pocket passer, but that's not necessarily true because he's more of a scrambler type of guy, 6'1", 200. I hope that they're able to grab him. He's just not interested in Camu. We've talked about how that would be a really good fit for Camu is to get Junior Cash, but he's just not interested. We've put all the points we can with Cash and Camu, trying to get that match made in heaven. It's just not working. So he's looking like he's going to go to Shreveport if McAllen doesn't put on a late push. Brad Jones down 2,500. Jonathan Elbert, we're up 850 to a bunch of smaller schools. He's out of Nacogdoches, Texas. From Duke, UL Monroe, Kentucky. Not a smaller school in Kentucky, but it is what it is. Ryan Ashley, we did get the number 9 center, so that makes me think that we don't even really need to go after Adam Porter. And the cool thing is you get Ethan King, plus you're going after Ryan Ashley. That might be able to solve your guard issue. And to check out Amarillo's recruiting board here, and Griffin Rivers up 1,400 points on Odessa. So you think this is going to happen? I do. I think Griffin Rivers is going to be in that baby blue and bright red Amarillo. He's going to go to Amarillo. I really do believe that. Darnell Savage is even still in the lead, number 1 wide receiver. Man, this team is going off. They got TJ Holt, 6'8" tackle. They're in the lead with Thomas Marquardt here. We already talked about him with Shreveport, trying to come back. This isn't even updated here. 2,500 points. They just opened the door on him. So he's back in the mix, except on this board it didn't even update. They got Joey Moore, the number 5 defensive end. They're in the lead with the number 8 defensive end with Jeremy Allen. Chuck Perry, number 10 corner. This team is killing it. They got 2 kickers. They got 2 kickers who want to go here and be a part of all of the points they're scoring out there. Antoine Mills from Fenton, Michigan. Yeah, Fenton Tigers. There you go. They were our rivals when I was in high school. Matt Douglas, the number 10 defensive end, they ended up nabbing. Devin Larkin here, number 57 corner. Jafari Okoye's in the lead. I mean, what else is there to say, guys? Juice Robinson committed. They're going off. They're going absolutely off. They've got depth here with Calhoun, Joel Ward, Kyle Palmer, Mike McKnight. They're down by 1,700 points. So it's all looking good for Amarillo right now as far as the recruiting is concerned. All right, guys, so quarterback David Tomsha, right there. You see it right there. He has committed. And where did he go? Dun, 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 dun. He went to Ardmore. Wow. Okay, so the number 1 quarterback, David Tomsha, has committed to Ardmore over his hometown team, the Kansas A&M Amber Wave, including McAllen as well. So David Tomsha, welcome, sir. We appreciate you. We appreciate you because guess what? We're losing John Hicks after this season. You got Ryan Stanfield's going to give us maybe 2 years. The thing that sucks is that David Tomsha might be ready to start. He would be ready to start on any low-level football team in NCAA. He's a 77 right now. He's 5'10", so he's a little on the smaller side at quarterback. So he would be ready to start. I just hope that when we redshirt him, that he doesn't leave. He doesn't transfer. That would be really, really bad. Top 25 time, guys. Let's see the carnage of what happened last week after that big-time Ardmore loss, all the way moving down to number 5. They dropped 4 spots for losing against number 22, Little Rock. Little Rock moves up 8 spots to 14. And just take a look. Just take a look at what happened here. Denver Tech moved up twice, 2 spots. ACU moved up 3 spots. I mean, this is an interesting dynamic about what's going on here. And I don't focus on Ardmore because they're my team. I focus on Ardmore here because this is an interesting thing that's happening here in the BCS rank, in the coaches poll. If Ardmore wins, they're going to the Big 12 championship game. But in the BCS ranking and even the coaches ranking, ACU somehow with 2 losses is ranked higher than Ardmore. Denver Tech ranked higher than Ardmore. Where are these 2 teams' losses coming from? Ardmore. Ardmore beat both of these teams when they played against them. So totally interesting dynamic of what's happening here in this top 5 battle. And then when we look at the BCS ranking here, Denver Tech number 2, ACU number 3. So things have stayed the same here between coaches poll and BCS. Ardmore actually loses a spot and goes down to 6. Underneath 3 2-loss teams. So it's pretty crazy when you think about how if Ardmore wins, they're going to the Big 12 championship game. And they're furthermore going to have to impress the BCS ranking, the computer. They're going to have to impress the coaches in order to possibly make it to a national title game. And for all the Ardmore haters out there, you guys are hoping that Shreveport wins. And even then, if Ardmore beats Shreveport and they're going to the championship game, you're hoping that Denver Tech is going to be able to knock us off in the rematch. But we'll talk about that in a second because I think Nebraska State is able to challenge Denver Tech. We'll talk about that game as well. They're ranked number 8 right now. They're in the top 10. McAllen moves up 4 spots from 15 to 11. Amarillo with the loss against Nebraska State only goes down 1, which I think is pretty fair. They move to 8-3. Michigan falls to Vanderbilt. They lose. And that's part of the carnage here as they go from number 5 to 13. I mean, there's just a whole lot of stuff happening here that's moving people up, especially in the Big 12. Big 12's got to thank Southern Miss for laying the whooping by 3 scores, 21-point differential, beating Marshall 48-27, going from 3 to 15. So that was huge for Denver Tech and ACU to move up in the polls. Let's check out the rest of the top 25 here. Nobody else in the Big 12. See if anybody else is receiving votes, and they are not. Midland State dropped out. They were number 19. Conference standings, let's take a look. So let's just see here. Ardmore beat ACU, and I don't know what the tiebreaker would be for this. My brother's probably watching this and cringing a little bit. But the most interesting matchup here this week is Denver Tech and Nebraska State. They have an opportunity. Just kind of like they did last season, where if they beat Denver Tech, they could go to the Big 12 title game. It wasn't meant to be last year, but they have a chance this year. If they do it, you would have another tie between first and second. Heisman watch time, guys. Brandon Peters still in first place. John Hicks did not do enough in the loss. And there you go. So Dwayne Haskins actually is moving up the board. He's coming in hot. He is charging a late charge. Hicks has to play well against Shreveport in order to stand a chance for this Heisman win. Brandon Peters, though, a 99 overall quarterback, he's got to play well against Haskins and Ohio State in order to keep his #1 spot. So you want to talk about motivation? All three of these schools and these players and these quarterbacks have huge motivation, have huge aspirations to not only push their team to the top for a victory. Ohio State and Michigan looking for a Big Ten championship, right in first place. And then you've got John Hicks, who's hoping to get that W against Shreveport. And then maybe if he pads the stats, voters might reconsider and move him up top if Peters struggled. All right, so time for the juicy part, guys. We got the previews. Amarillo, Midland State, Little Rock, McAllen, Camu, Odessa, Nebraska State, Denver Tech, Broken Arrow, ACU, Ardmore, Shreveport. So let's get into it right here, right now. Talk about who I'm going to take. Amarillo against Midland, a battle in Texas. Midland 6-5, Amarillo 8-3. I wouldn't be too fooled with the 6-5 record for Midland State. They do have the #2 rush defense, #8 total offense, and Amarillo's just kind of middle of the road. I would take Midland State here because I have seen Amarillo kind of be a little bit bipolar in the season. I know that they're a really good team. They've got a lot of things going for them, a lot of momentum shifting their way, but Midland State is super and uber talented. Little Rock and McAllen, pretty interesting matchup. I think that both these two teams, 8-3, are going to give a lot of people problems in the pick'em game. So whoever you pick, you might vault yourself up into that first place standing, guys. And if you guys need some advice, need some help, need some pick selection advice, take a look in the comments below in the description and go to goldglovergaming.com. Check out Heel Boy's picks for this week. He's got some insight. He's been really, really accurate this season, so props to him. But for me, I'm probably taking Little Rock here, and that's not because I lost to them, but it's because I think that they've got a lot of momentum because they beat Ardmore. Gunnar Rivers has been under fire throughout most of his collegiate career, not being able to win the big game. You know, his offensive line, yelling at his O-line, yelling at his receivers. You know, he's a very fiery type of quarterback. I think he wants to get on that national stage. I think he's motivated, and this is a game to do it. If they go to 9-3, they could get into a big bowl game in December, and that's really where you're going to be able to show off your skill set with the scouts, the scouting departments in the NFL. Whether he decides to come back for his senior season, that is left to be determined. Maybe he transfers as a senior transfer. That's even on the table. That's been rumored as well, but I would hope that he doesn't transfer. I think that they've got some good things going with Little Rock here. LaQuinton Evans could use Gunnar Rivers if he's wanting to sacrifice himself for another year. He could mentor and groom LaQuinton Evans a little bit. He's got some receiving top-notch caliber players coming in from recruiting class. So, you know, Gunnar Rivers got a lot to play for. I'm taking Little Rock because of those reasons. I think that they have the momentum. Camu and Odessa State. Interesting matchup yet again. And it just depends on who you're going to take. Because if you decide to take Odessa and they lay an egg against Camu, then everybody's going to be like, what the heck happened? I just lost 3 points. I might pick them standing. So this one also might throw some people off a little bit, throw a wrench in their plans. Camu rated higher than Odessa State, but we've seen this script with Camu. They've lost 6 games in a row, and Jace Freeman does not look like the quarterback that he used to be. But look at the defense. Run defense, very solid. Number 10. Total defense, number 50. Pass offense, number 25. But look at the pass defense, though. 109 against the number 1 passing offense in Odessa State. Odessa wants this game just as badly as Camu wants this game. Camu wants to go to a bowl game. Odessa wants to improve the program's standing and stature. And they've got visiting prospects, Savage and Austin, custom recruits from Texas visiting. Odessa State is extremely motivated for this game. I'm going to go with Odessa. I think Camu is going to lose their 7th straight game, and Bud Warner is then fired and let go. That's my prediction. probably the biggest game in Nebraska State's history. We said that last year when they played against Denver Tech, but I really truly believe that this time. It might not be the biggest game they've ever had at home because they're on the road, so they've even got that hurdle to climb against and battle against, with Denver Tech being just far superior than this little Nebraska State Prairie Dog team. Look at the numbers. A+ overall rating. Am I saying an upset can't happen? No, not saying that, but it's going to be tough, man. This is literally David and Goliath here. Denver Tech, 42.5 points per game. That's good for number 3. Nebraska State's just kind of middle of the road. They're having a great year at 9-2. Everything's coming together here, but it only comes down to one game. Can they get this one game against Nebraska State? We're going to find out, but I'm taking Denver Tech. I'm not going with the upset here. I think Denver Tech goes back to a Big 12 championship game against Ardmore. They're going to play Ardmore in the Big 12 championship game. Broken Arrow ACU, there's not much to talk about here. You know, Buster Smith has been a good shot in the arm for this offense, but I just don't think that they're going to be able to hang with ACU. ACU is obviously super motivated for the potential of making it to a national title game. ACU is extremely motivated. Extremely motivated. Take ACU here. Don't take Uba. If you do, you're crazy. All right, taking a look at number 5, Ardmore against Shreveport, 4-7. I don't think Shreveport gets the W. I'm taking Ardmore here. We've knocked ourselves down to the number 5 in rushing defense, but again, don't look at that because we have been getting gashed on the ground for quite some time later on in the season. So, you know, maybe early on it was a true number, but we've been getting gashed on the ground the last few days. If you take Shreveport, you're not a crazy person because that could be rationalized and we could easily lose this game. We've lost to Shreveport before on the road. I think it was in year 2 or year number 1. I believe it was year number 2. I could be wrong about that. But I know we have lost to Shreveport before. It sucked. It sucked. Definitely hurt us. But I'm going to go with Ardmore in this one. I think that we know what's at stake. There's a lot at stake here. A lot of pressure. But Shreveport just hasn't been able to pass the football, has not been able to have a good quarterback play. So guys, that's going to be it for today's Wednesday preview video. Leave a like if you like this thing, and if you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that red button for subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss a single Big 12 Team Builder upload. We post these on Wednesdays and Saturdays, games on Saturdays, Wednesday preview videos of the week upcoming. Very big week for a couple teams in the Big 12. Post your picks on the Google Forms. Link is in the description, or you can also go to goldgullivergaming.com in the Picks Center in the NCAA football section. Let me know if you guys have any problems accessing it, because I will be available to communicate with you and talk to you and try to get that fixed and figured out, because this is the week for you guys. This is a big week. I will also be giving you guys a Madden update next Wednesday, so another week until you get the next Madden update, Madden 19, for the Miami Dolphins. Jeff Henderson, head coach, Jed Carmichael, quarterback. You guys get the idea. Andre Wingo, I know he's hurt, so we'll get an update on those guys out there in Miami in week 15 of college football season. So when we preview the Big 12 championship game, that's when you guys will get your Madden update as well. Seems like good timing to me. So guys, we'll see you next Saturday, 11 a.m. As always, peace.